Good morning, NCN family. I am excited to say that I am shooting this video on January 1st, 2021, which means we've made it through 2020, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. But welcome back. We're excited that you've got this time together to kind of ease back into second semester, and then very intentionally plan for how we're going to be excellent in this second semester of this school year that is so crazy. Today, I just want to share really briefly quick story, and then I want to connect it to kind of a personal realization that I've had recently, and then how it connects to our organization as a whole. So the quick story is there was a doctor named Dr. Bakken, and he was the one that revolutionized the internal defibrillator. Before him, if you had kind of a pacemaker, you were hooked up to all kinds of machines and you couldn't move, and it was kind of a rough life. And so it was a big deal. They went to his office and they interviewed everybody in his office. And they asked everybody the same first question, which was, what do you do here? They got a lot of varied answers, but the most incredible answer came from the custodian. The custodian didn't say, oh, I take out the trash or I clean up around here. The custodian, without pausing, looked at the interviewers and said, Dr. Bakken and I save lives. Oh my gosh, what an amazing response to that. And he's not wrong, right? His role is crucial in keeping things clean and making sure that infections aren't spreading. But to have that internalization of the mission of the office and of the people that he works with, and knowing he has that same role within the office. He is contributing to saving lives. So got me kind of thinking, if people were to come around NCN and ask everybody what they do, would we have the same kind of response, or would everybody give kind of a varied job description of what they do? So we'll come back to that idea in a second here. The personal epiphany that I've had recently. So 2020 for me was defined by finding opportunity in adversity. And the opportunity that I found this year was time. There was a lot of time that I got back from the nature of the way that we were working. And so a lot of that time was dedicated towards spending more time with family, which was wonderful. I don't think I've gotten to sit down to dinner for so many consecutive nights with my family as I have this year in a long, long time. So that was great. But the other way that I chose to fill a lot of my time was reading. I'm an English teacher at heart, and so I love to read, and I've always been a big reader. But this year I set a goal. I said I wanted to read a book a week, and I finished the year reading 53 books, so just slightly beat my goal. But reading for me is the primary way that I use to learn, to grow, to expand my mind, right? Because readers, we know this, are more curious. Readers tend to have more empathy. Readers tend to be very open-minded. The one thing that connects all great leaders through history is that they were readers. And so I want to emulate the great leaders of the past. I also want to be a great reader. And so it was very important to me to really hone that. But what was the epiphany is that I was able to accomplish that goal with a singularity of focus. I knew exactly what I wanted to accomplish. I knew what I could impact. I didn't have some ambiguous goal about, I want to grow or I want to learn more. I set a very specific goal. And so I think that what has been missing lately in our organization is the specificity, the singularity of focus of what we are doing. The singularity of focus that would get a custodian to say, Dr. Bakken and I save lives. And so in a conversation that sparked out of our academic excellence committee meeting for our board, Dr. Ken Britt, who is on our board, was really pushing the committee to think about what is it that we can actually accomplish this year. It's a crazy year. There's a lot going on. There are a lot of needs. We know from the data that kids are way behind, and the spring didn't help. It actually caused even wider gaps, right? So there's a lot of urgency and a lot of panic right now. So he pushed us to think about what can we actually get accomplished right now. And so when you think about what is the thing that is going to help our kids more than any other thing, if everything stayed the same and we could affect one thing, what one thing would be the most important thing? And we decided that's literacy. Literacy touches every single aspect of education. It's what sparks that curiosity in our learners. It's that shift from learning to read to reading to learn that is going to be so crucial. It's the reason why we have all the data around kids need to be able to read by third grade, or there are some serious implications in their future if you don't course correct that. So we know it's crucial, but we have not had the singularity of focus of saying this year what we need to focus on is literacy. Last year, if you were here, we had the seeing the elephant analogy, and we talked about becoming a blue ribbon school, but even that was a little bit ambiguous in our roadmap to get there. What we're doing now is we're talking about the singularity of focus. We're talking about we need to teach kids how to read. And that, if we accomplish that the compounding positive effect of that one mission will affect everything else that's happening in the schools and in our kids' lives. And so that became the message that we have in the Academic Excellence Committee. It became the board presentation, and the board really jumped on this idea that they've given us this directive to follow through with what we want to do with saying this year, among all the millions of things that we could be focusing on, literacy is the number one. So we're teaching kids how to be great readers this year. Now we've got 4 pillars within that. The first one is attendance. We just need kids here, right? Whether it's physically or virtually, but we need them in the seats. And this work is driven primarily by the ops team. They've been doing a great job planning of how to increase attendance in the rooms. It's touched by everyone. Everyone contributes to attendance. Ops team drives it, but that's number one, get kids here. Once they're here, number 2, that their mental state, right? The social emotional learning piece. Are they ready to learn? And obviously our student support team plays a huge role in this, our counselors, our teachers, though, everybody has some sort of impact on that. But once we get kids here and then they're ready to learn, the third pillar is the content, right? Are we giving kids great things to learn? Are we engaging them? Are we giving them the worthy tasks that they need? Is the content solid? Academic team is the leaders in this, but again, everybody plays a role. So once we've got kids there, they're ready to learn, they're learning great stuff. The last piece that kind of wraps around all of it is the family engagement piece. How are we building capacity in our families to be able to support education at home so we can extend that learning even further? And that's going to be a really crucial piece for us too, is working with our families, the family engagement piece. So those are our 4 pillars. So when I think about Dr. Bakken and his office, they are saving lives, right? What I'm hopeful for is that if somebody were to ask you, what do? You would say, I'm making sure kids know how to read. That's going to be the key for us, right? If everybody has that singularity of focus, if everybody knows that our kids need to be great readers so that they can become the leaders that our society needs, we will have succeeded this year. So that is our charge. Everybody in the organization is now working towards ensuring that our kids become great readers. So with that in mind, with that singularity of focus, you can approach the rest of this day knowing that this is what we want to accomplish in a crazy year when there are just so many things that could distract us. So good luck today, have fun, make sure that you reconnect, and I'm excited to see what you guys can accomplish with that singularity of focus.